Kobe, you know what this movie is?
What's that, Barry?
It's inconceivable. Has like nothing to do with this movie though. Oh man, what's going on, guys? My name is Barry,
This is Colby.
and this is Who Watches This.
Music.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the third week of.
It was supposed to be Clone Month, but this movie is slightly off key.
I don't know. Last week's was kind of off key too, but yeah, I don't know.
I still will argue that last week fit.
Yeah, this one is It made sense when I saw who the director was.
That was actually a surprise. I did not even know that person directed.
Yeah, yeah, he's a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
But yeah, like before we get into like our Rhinefest trailer or of it all, I was like, God, I remember not watching this movie, but like seeing the poster for it,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, you know, he's kind of like John Heater for me. I think in more recent times he's gotten a little bit better, but I feel like he knows where his pocket is.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? John Heater, by the way, I feel like he got typecasted, unfortunately, and I feel like whenever I see him in other things, it's always a delight. Yeah, but without divulging the movie, Colby, how did you find this?
I was just kind of searching the internet for things about clone movies that I hadn't seen. And this, from the quick description that I read, felt like it was going to fit a little bit better into our theme than it actually does. But it's not that it doesn't, but it seemed more direct clone than
Mind Clone.
yeah.
Oh man. Well, yeah, let's get into our Rhinefest so we can get into this movie. Simon says, but no one follows. James says, and everyone's getting fried like they cooking in tallow. From bosses who love him to ladies who adore him, Simon's starting to look like a cuck, a muscle that's about to get shucked. In the end, will James burst his bubble? Let's find out in 2013's The Double. I was drawing a blank. I was almost gonna go the easy way and just ask Chat GPT to make me a little rhyme scheme. I was like,
Dr. Seuss me up a definition for this movie.
exactly. This is a rough one, but it's 2013's. I gotta say it's like an art house film, indie art house Sundance or Festival de Cannes type of movie, from 2013.
I think I saw that it was like 2.3 million, which is super small budget. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm wrong. I'm not seeing it now.
I think it makes sense
But I
though.
thought that's what
But what's it called? Yeah, it's starring Jesse Eisenberg, Mia, a name I can't pronounce, like the last name. The dude that says inconceivable in Princess Diaries.
Princess Bride.
Oh, Princess Bride. Princess Diaries is Anne Hathaway.
The girl Mia Wasikowska. She was in Alice in Wonderland. She was Alice.
Oh, in the Johnny Depp one, right?
Yeah, and then she was also in Map to the Stars with that we reviewed a while back with
Yeah,
the
she was
Robert
like
Pattinson,
I think she was a nanny in that one or something like that. I
something
forget.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and but you know, this movie is directed by Richard Ayoade. I don't know if I'm saying that right. I was like hearing other people say it. Ayadi, I don't know, from IT Crowd and The Watch with Ben Stiller.
Right. And I knew him as funny and like and that so I did not have any idea. Like I even read the name and like it just didn't click that that's who it was. I was like,
Uh,
oh, okay, this is some.
I think after I watched the IT Crowd, I was like, I searched him up to see like any other shows or movies he's been in because I like his like brand of like comedy. It's like
Mm-hmm.
super dry, not like
Yes.
super dry, but it's kind of like new age dry. And it's funny enough because Chris O'Dowd shows up in this movie as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So I was like, when I saw him, I was like, oh, is Matthew Berry gonna be in here? And the girl from the IT Crowd. Unfortunately, not. But yeah, this movie also has like a couple of like just like a lot of British names, just because this is a British movie.
Right.
And oh man, yeah, but like, it just really mainly stars like Jesse Eisenberg playing dual roles.
Right. Yeah.
And oh man, let's get into like a really quick summary, just because this movie is like pretty difficult. I was like watching this movie, I was like, even when I took notes, even when I took notes, I think it's just gonna be a little bit better if I just do almost like a generalized summary. Um, Movie opens up with Jesse Eisen. Oh, first of all, I gotta say this movie shot like it's a play. Did you get
Okay.
the idea for that? Like, did you get that feeling? It feels almost like a play.
I did not get that
Oh,
feeling.
okay.
Like to me, it the way they shot it felt very much like a Terry Gilliam film.
Mm.
Like we had done a number of his films a little while back. Um, but and I was like, oh, is that like a British way of filming? Like, I don't know. But it was like to me, like I could be like, oh, I could if somebody told me that he was involved in this film, it wouldn't have surprised me, even though he's
Yeah.
not.
It's also because of like the set designs.
Oh,
That's
no,
why.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of that's like super simple
Yeah.
and strange angles and stuff.
Yeah. Like very quick cuts
Yeah.
and pan shots. It was like, yeah, it's pretty jarring if you're not used to that. But yeah, this movie opens up with Jesse Eisenberg, or Simon, who's in a train, and he kind of gets bullied out of his seat by who I assume is Jesse Eisenberg as well, because the voice sounded the same.
It does. They don't show it or anything. They never show the other person on the train's
But
face.
but you
But
know.
yeah.
But as he tries to get out of the train, you can tell from like his demeanor from the opening scene that he's very standoffish, like very non-confrontational, because he doesn't fight for his seat. Because it pans the shot pans out and there's like a whole bunch of empty seats.
Yeah, almost completely empty train.
Yeah, and then when he tries to get out, there's people like just like lugging packages into the train, and he's like too afraid to be like, "Let me through."
Yeah, and almost missed his stop.
He misses it. Well, he almost misses a stop, but he ends up losing his briefcase.
Yeah.
And then when he gets to like his office, he's going through security, and he's like, "Hey, I've worked here for 7 years. Like we know each other." And he's like, the security guy's like not having it.
Right, he goes, you've seen me every single day for 7 years. And the guy's like, I don't work weekends, so I couldn't have seen you every day.
So you're a
Let me
liar.
let me see your ID,
Yeah.
stranger.
And yeah,
Fill
so
out this guest pass.
from the opening thing, like from the opening scenes, just like from the first 5 minutes, you could tell this person almost lives as a wallflower.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of just decorative, like just always blending into the background. So his life is pretty meek. Even when you get to the office, like we do run into like a blonde girl played by Mia, and she seems a little bit more cheery, but I don't know if I think I think I'm just attesting that to her blonde hair.
Right, right.
Because everybody in this movie speaks like times two. Like,
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's not really a break for you to think about what they're talking about. It's very like real conversation, just like back and forth,
yeah,
and
and,
then on to the next scene. Like there's
yeah,
not a
yeah, and I think that's more because of who we're perceiving the world from, right? We're perceiving it from Simon, and we can talk about his like his issues at the end, and and all that stuff. But yeah, and like you can kind of tell Simon is into her.
right.
She
Yep.
kind of in the way we see her, she like kind of glides.
Yeah, he notices her on the subway and the other car. Now he's kind of following her here. Um, even though she like isn't paying any attention, he's still try quietly trying to get her attention.
Yeah, but it's just not really working.
Right, right.
We get to his work and we don't know what this company is doing. Like we, even in the movie as it goes on, it never is divulged what this company is about.
Right. It's like people on super outdated computers trying to connect dots.
Yeah,
And like,
you're like, all right, it's not really important. I guess Richard is like Richard Iotta is like it's not important. It's funny. I tried to like watch a bunch of people's reviews on this movie,
mm,
and even they were just like, "Yeah, it's really good. It's dope." Like,
and that's the review with like ending explained.
yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. And so, like, yeah, he's going through this day. It seems like he's again not really noticed at work. His boss, played by like Mr. P. I know that's like his Pompanopoulos.
Papadopoulos, yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna call him Mr. P for the. He's kind of like writing him, but like not like hard. He's just like, hey, hey, get this done. Are you new here? Type of situation. He's like, no, I've been here for 7 years. He's like, oh, okay. Well, keep up the work.
Right. It's like, keep up the work, Samson.
Yeah.
It's Simon.
Yeah.
And by that time, the guy's already walked off.
Yeah. So he goes through this day. Oh, like he ends up, what's it called? Mr. P ends up like asking him, like, hey, can you tutor my daughter? Or was it like the admiral's daughter? I forgot whose daughter.
Yeah, it was somebody's.
Someone's daughter, and he's like, I don't know if I'm. Oh, okay, well, thank you.
Right. Yeah. Just have her shadow you for an hour a day.
Yeah.
Until she gets the hang of this.
Yeah, and oh my god, this day it goes by. It's like this movie's an hour and 30 minutes, and it feels like it's going quicker than that. It's already a fast movie, but no, yeah, and so like he goes to like the diner to get something to eat, and doesn't get any respect there as well, because like the what's it called the waitress brings him like a Powerade.
Right. He was like, I want an orange juice, and then she brings him like a Powerade.
Yeah, but like he complains, but he like says it underneath his breath. He's like, I ordered an orange juice. It's like, oh my gosh, and then so like yeah, so he gets home, very small, like almost like a cubicle like apartment. It's one of those, yeah, it's like it's a temporary, it should be a temporary thing kind of apartments.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's one of those apartments where they have like a shared bathroom.
Dorm-ish,
Yeah.
almost.
Oh yeah, that's like this one's for poors. It's a halfway house. I was like dorm, Jesus. But across from him, Mia lives there, or Hannah, and he's being extra creepy. He's looking into this girl's house with like a telescope. He's not even turning off the lights.
Right. Yeah.
But she seems pretty odd as well. Like she's drawing something with like a reddish paint. And then she like after she gets done drawing it, she ends up ripping it up and then throwing it into the dumpster.
Right. Yep.
And then Simon is like, "Oh, I know what dumpster that leads to." And starts to fish out the pieces, which I was like, "Oh, are we? Is this like Psycho with Elijah Wood? Is he a stalker?" But no, he puts it together, and God, this guy is like super enamored with this chick, right? And so the next day when they get, what's it? Was it that night? He sees somebody across his home, or is it like the night after?
Right. Yeah. So he goes back up. He puts the little picture together, and then he goes to like look through again, and above where her apartment is, there's somebody standing on the ledge,
Yeah.
and he's like, "What?" And the person seems to acknowledge him, like gives him like a little wave.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh my god, can they see me?" Kind of like, and he kind of half waves back, and then the person jumps.
Yeah. And then so like, the police come, and I recognize one of the younger cop. I think he's like in a couple of like British shows on Netflix, and they're like, "Oh, poor bastard. If he just jumped like one square away, he would have been really fucking hurt. And if he didn't go to the hospital, he probably would have died, but he would have survived if he got to the hospital."
Right. Well, yeah, 1 foot to the left, he would have hit the awning and bounced instead of hitting the concrete.
I mean, he'd still be really like he would die without hospital need, but and then like he's like, "You guys seem really like lackadaisical about this." He's like, "It happens a lot." He's like,
Yeah,
"It'll probably-"
we're the suicide division. And he's like, you do all the suicides for the whole town? He's like, "Oh, okay. No, just this neighborhood. That was keeps us plenty busy."
Yeah. And then they look at him and you're like, "Yeah, we'll see you next week."
Right. Yeah. Do you want to kill yourself?
Yeah.
No. Put him down as a maybe.
It's like zero fate in humanity, right? It was that portion was really funny to me. But then he sees like Mia comes out,
Yeah.
and like they
Right, because she comes out because the police want to talk to her,
yeah
and she's like, "No, I didn't know him."
yeah
And then after the police leave, she's like, "It's kind of a lie. I did kind of know him."
yeah like we waved at each other a couple of times, but like no, they go to the same diner where Simon gets disrespected.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, like this guy has like the worst relationship with his mother. It's just super smothering.
Oh, yeah.
And to the point where like she even calls him at the diner because she knows like he'll be there, and Mia ends up like leaving. She's like, "Hey, thanks, bye."
Right. Yep.
And so the next day he gets to work, and Mr. P is like, "Hey, we got this new guy here. Can you train him?" His name is James.
Yeah.
And when he sees him, Simon faints because he's like, "Does nobody see that we look exactly alike?"
Right. Same clothes and everything.
Yeah. But the demeanor for James, he's a little bit more like, "I fuck bitches."
Not quite yet, but yes, he's very personable, and he starts
you
to
could tell just from
make
his
the rounds
posture, though.
with
Yeah.
with the old guys, like, "Hey,
Like
Papadopoulos, what's going on?"
like James's posture is much more relaxed. He's standing up straight, but like in a relaxed way.
Right.
You could just tell, from his body language, he's just much more. He's like the exact opposite from just like the first meeting.
Right, because Simon is definitely like meek, and he's smart and has ideas, but like he almost seems like he's gonna have an anxiety attack anytime like somebody interacts with him.
Yeah, and so they start to interact with each other, but like Simon can't really wrap his head around this. He's like, "The hell, you look like me. You're me. We even have the same clothes." He's like, "I don't know about that."
Yeah, and he even asks, like, he's got like one kind of friend at the in the office, and he's like, "When you look at James, does he remind you of anybody?" And he's like, "I don't know. What are you talking about? Do you have anybody in mind? Is it somebody famous?"
He's like, I don't see it. I'm sorry. But Simon starts to like really interact with him because Mr. P told him like, hey, show him the ropes and everything. James is like, why don't you do it? And for a little bit, it's like kind of like working a little bit, but Mr. P starts to be like, hey, where's James? And James is like off like bullshitting somewhere.
Right.
Like Simon keeps doing his work.
Right. Yeah. So he's like, wow, he's so good. He's never at his desk, and yet his work just keeps getting done. He must be really good.
And so like later that day, I think Simon wanted to confront James about like, hey, like I'm not going to do your work anymore. They go to the diner that he goes to. And again, the waitress kind of like really shits on him. Like he's like, we don't have that. We don't have that. We don't have that. And then when she goes to ask James, he's like, hey, can I get some eggs? And she's like, we don't have that. I was like, well, do you have eggs? She's like, yeah. Do you have a frying pan? Yeah. Okay, make me some fucking eggs, dude.
Right. Yeah. She's like, oh, we don't serve breakfast after 11.
Yeah, but you have it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's
so
like,
go ahead and make that.
And she's like, what else do you want? Bacon, sausage, hash browns, and coffee. And his food comes out like they got a split.
Right.
Super fast. And then she looks at Simon and she's like, oh yeah, we didn't have what you ordered again. And so now Simon is like, wait, hold on, can I learn something from this guy? Like, I'll keep doing your work if you like teach me.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And so like the next day he has like some sort of like, I don't know, fucking litmus test. Some sort of test that he has to, like, James has a test that he has to do for the company. And he's like, hey, Simon, we look alike. So, can you do the test for me? Like, I'm just like not really feeling great,
Oh, and it's like, it's second day. And when Simon goes to badge in, they're like, your badge isn't working. Fill out a guest form. And James is like, oh, don't worry, he's with me. And the security guard is like, oh, hey, James. Yeah, no, go ahead. You can go ahead and go in. He's like, I've been here 7 years and you don't recognize me. James been here 1 day.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, he's my man.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, he ends up taking the test for him for whatever reason. I guess, like, to learn from James. But then, meanwhile, while he's doing that, James goes to Melanie, the girl he's supposed to, like, tutor, and seduces her.
Right.
Oh, man. And so, like, Simon's, like, befuddled, he goes down to the printer shop. Oh, like, he starts to get tips. James is like, all right, like, you want to get with Hannah? Okay, I got you. We can go ahead and do this. What you're going to do, right, is you're going to tell her, like, hey, I don't need any more copies because I fixed my printer. So you want to kind of separate, create distance. You don't want to seem too eager,
Right. Yeah, because you're coming across desperate.
Yeah.
So,
and like the way that you look at her is so, yeah.
So let's make a little mystery in there.
Yeah, and so like they kind of do that, and then all of a sudden like Hannah comes up and she's like, oh hey Simon, can I talk to you? And it seems like, oh, maybe it worked. But she's like, hey, can we go like grab something to eat? And then he's like, oh, like a date? He's like, yeah, sure, like a date, cool. But when they get to the date or like the diner, she's like, hey, do you think you could put a good word in for James for me for James?
Yeah.
And he's like, what? What do you see in James that you don't see in me? We look exactly alike. She's like, but there's just something so mysterious about him. And so like he tells James and he's like, it's cool, man. You're going to go as me. And I'm going to be in your ear.
Yeah, we look the same. So yeah.
I'm going to be in your ear. I'm going to coach you. And I'm going to coach you right into that vagina. But this dinner is super awkward. Nobody is saying anything.
Right. Yeah. And James is already like just lie about things she can't verify. Like tell her like you're like we're in the army and
Yeah.
that you're like the captain of or you played on some professional football team.
Yeah. He also was like, yeah, just put your foot in between her thighs.
Right, yeah.
And man, like he goes into the bathroom where like James is like in there with like a little recorder or whatever or radio thing, and he's like, "Oh Jesus, look at you, man! You're sweating profusely. This is why you're gonna die alone." And he's like, "Here, give me your jacket. Let me go out there. I'll smooth it over." He goes out there. She's almost out the door because she's like, "This is a bad idea," and like you can't really tell what they're talking about because like the restaurant keeps making noise around Simon.
Yeah.
It's like multiple blenders around him.
And the radio's there and he tries to turn the radio off and he like the knob pops off.
And then at the end of it, he kisses her. And like the whole like restaurant cheers. Oh, well, first of all, before the actual kiss, like they slap each other.
Yeah.
Like she slaps him and then he slaps her back. And then they kiss.
Yeah.
And the whole like restaurant's like, yay! And he's like, oh. And then they go back to her place and do it, presumably.
Presumably, yes.
And so now Simon's like going into a spiral. His work or his like job is like shitting on him because they're like, look at James, he's such a hard worker. You know, look at him. He's amazing. I don't know. You should be more like him, Simon. And meanwhile, Simon is like watching this guy work. He's like talking. He's talking to Mr. P. He's talking to the Admiral. He's building all these connections, and he's like fucking multiple women.
Right. Yeah. Because he's watching because he wants to make sure that Hannah doesn't go back to this guy's room, and he's bringing Melanie.
Yeah.
He's bringing the waitress from the diner.
Yeah. And like he even tries to sabotage him.
Yeah.
He's like he calls like Hannah and he's like, "Hey, I want you right now. Please come up." And I guess he's able to kind of like, "Hey, not tonight," while hiding the girl. And now Hannah's like all distraught. She's like, "Oh, why doesn't he love me? I gave him everything."
Right. And then Simon's feeling actually now terrible because he's like, oh wow, now she's all crying. I broke her heart because I was being petty.
Yeah. And now his life at work is even more so like just ruined because now he sees like James is like in the office with the Admiral telling jokes and
right. And James has now gotten to the point where he's just like, hey, you got to make sure you do my work for me while I do this. And Simon's like, no. And he's like, well, I've got pictures of wink, wink, you with Melanie, Mr. Papadopoulos' daughter. And we don't want those to get passed around. So my work better get done.
Yeah. And who do you think they're going to believe? Me? Awesome James or fucking sad Simon over here? And he shows him his badge. And now it says like executive.
Yeah.
And he's like, also, give me your room, cause I'm a loud lover. Yeah, we're gonna.
Yeah, right, and we don't want any more mistakes with Hannah accidentally coming up to my room.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm gonna be fucking in your room, making it all musty.
So already he said, yeah, and there may be multiple women, so ignore the different smells.
Yeah, so when he sees like this whole like thing playing out with like the Admiral, Mr. P, he like flips out. He completely loses it. Where he loses so much where like the company ends up sending him to like a little psych like eval.
Yeah.
But then like when he talks to the doctor, it's the security guard.
Yeah.
So this is sort of like, I don't know if it's like a moment of lucidity, but who knows, right? This whole movie's up for interpretation, right? But
right, and it like momentarily made me think, does everybody have a doppelganger? And like one's successful and one's not.
Oh, see, I just went to like a different train of thought, so we'll talk about that after. But yeah, when he gets back, he tries to confront James. James comes out, kind of cuts him on the Adam's apple,
Yeah.
starts bleeding, and then this is like, God, the movie starts to blur. So I kind of want to get to our questions versus like me just recapping the movie. But Simon's mom ends up dying,
Yeah.
and then he goes there. Now he's like in full rage mode, right? He punches James because James is like holding people hostage.
Right. Yeah. James is already there.
Yeah, with some random woman. And he punches him in the nose, but then Simon's nose starts bleeding.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Whoa, what the hell?" And then Hannah tries to commit suicide. And then when they go to like the hospital, they're like, "Hey, like, she actually miscarried as well." And freaking knowing Simon's stalker ass, he knows that like James is the only guy she's been with,
Right.
at least
Yeah.
from his knowledge, and so like Simon is like, I'm gonna kill this dude. I'm gonna fucking kill this guy. He's stolen my life. He's better than me.
Right. Yeah.
And so like him knowing now that they for some reason share pain, he ends up like kind of like sneaking into his own apartment, strange enough. And like James has like a little band-aid over his throat where he got cut.
Yep.
He's like, okay, we do share pain. So he ends up cuffing him to his bed, and he ends up wanting to commit or trying to kill himself. But when he looks down, he sees like the little like Jackie Chan tarp.
Yeah.
The tarp that Jackie Chan would definitely like try to land on. And he remembers like, hey, the police said that if he just landed on this little tarp, he would bounce off and he would really get fucking hurt. But if the cops come, like if the ambulance comes right on time, there's a pretty high chance of survival.
Right. And before he gets out on the ledge, he calls in and says, hey, I see somebody out on the ledge. They're getting ready to jump.
Mm-hmm.
So then they already set the Suicide Squad are already on the way.
Yeah, and now James is like tied up on the bed, and he's not gonna get any like help treatment wise.
Right.
So he jumps off. The ambulance comes. The two detectives are like, "Fucking knew it." And what's it called? I believe Hannah comes with him in the ambulance, but also the Admiral.
And also the Admiral.
And I forgot what they ask him. Like,
well, the Admiral tells him, "Don't worry, you're special."
Mm-hmm.
Because the whole thing was like the whole movie. Every time you see the Admiral, he's like, "Remember, nobody's special. You're all the same.
Yeah,
We all love you all equally."
Yeah, and then like, what's it called? Simon ends up saying like, "I'm one of a kind" or something.
Yeah, I always thought I was unique.
Yeah. And the movie ends there. All right, before we get into like the questions I posed for the both of us, let's go to our other section, High Star, Low Star.
We got a 10 out of 10. Double is a must-see film. The Double is Richard Ayoade's sophomore film following the brilliantly done Submarine, once again adapting a story from a novel. Influences like Terry Gilliam, Steven Soderbergh, and the directors of German Expressionist era are evident as Ayoade tells the comedic yet dark tale of Simon James, an introverted, shy, unlucky man whose life is flipped upside down with the arrival of new coworker James Simon, who is the exact opposite of him, charismatic, charming, and confident. Ayoade shows an incredible talent. What incredible talent he has with an incredible rhythm to his films. It has the speed of a 1930s screwball comedy, but the charisma, the wit, and the of something much, much deeper. The lighting and the sound give the film a 1920s German vibe, very reminiscent of a David Lynch. Ayoade also uses the same set in actors as in Submarine, which is a delight that they are completely different characters in this movie, completely refreshing. I have not seen Submarine, so I don't know. 93 minutes is short and exciting, fresh, filled with great actors, a fair share of comedy and drama, and an interesting plot. Ayoade proves he is certainly a director to look out for in the future. Double most likely won't be a contender for an Oscar, but it's certainly deserving of one or more in editing, sound, and mixing, as well as nomination for score. A must-see film of 2014.
And I got a 1 out of 10. A young man confronts his other self. I hated this movie. I don't know how to describe how much I hate it. But I started with high expectations because I usually enjoy books and movies about doubles, and I watch patiently through the first 5 to 10 minutes. But the film is so pretentious and pseudo-artsy and so totally dependent upon images rather than any meaningful dialogue that before long I began to wish the movie was over. I very much like the opening scene where Simon is told to move from his subway seat. Reminded me of an Ingmar Bergman film, and the movie does pick up once the double enters, but it's all downhill from there. I've liked Jesse Eisenberg and Mia Wasikowska in other films, but they seem emotionless and very mechanical in this one. It's been a long time since I felt so emotionally uninvolved with a film. I'm glad that I saw it on demand, because if I paid money, I would have been really pissed. Yeah, I get it. All right, but this movie, like, what's it called? Just to like kind of like talk about like the 1 out of 10. I think it's very much intentional how the actors were asked to deliver the lines.
Yes.
And I really think that's because we're viewing this world in the eyes of Jesse Eisenberg, who is shown to be very introverted and anxious, almost constantly in a state of like almost panic attack. But so I asked Colby some questions. I was like, hey, like, let's see, like, can you, like, I asked him some questions, some key talking points, right? And so, because there's a couple of like recurring themes in this movie, so I'm gonna kind of do the order differently that I had given it to you. But yeah, we could talk, like, let's talk about the absurdity for like corporate hierarchy and soul crushing jobs, and the idea of like being invisible in like the cog of corporate life.
Yeah, it made it very. Never living in a communist society. This is how I felt communism was. Like, everybody is equal. Nobody's special. Work hard. You're not going to move up. You're a piece of the machine. Yeah. Just if you break down, they're just going to pull you out and stick somebody else in there, and the machine's just going to keep on keeping on.
Yeah, and like, it's funny because like me and you, we both work for like a pretty big corporation, and it's like, it's super, and we also come from like an old mentality of like, keep your head down, do your work, and you'll get recognized.
Right. Yeah.
Which is like has never really been the case. Because it's whoever can suck up the most that's always like, and it's I feel like it's less about sucking up and more about being the most visible to those people.
Right.
And like,
yeah, and like weirdly, like charismatically, obvious.
And you know, that's what happens when like, you know, your parents like raise you to, I don't know, have pride and and you know, fucking stand up for yourself.
Right.
It's rough, right? I feel like it's getting a little bit more phased out now, where people are trying to be a little bit more outspoken, at least to a degree, where like, let me say something, but also I got mortgage due.
I it's interesting because at my work, I was in the old department pre-COVID, like where I used to work. There was like a pretty boy
Mm-hmm.
who was not smart. He never did it. Never did any work. He was always just walking around talking to people, and he was below me.
Yeah.
And then like he just I moved to a completely different department, so you know there was like no competition between. But in where he was, he's like every 6 months got promoted, and like he doesn't do anything productive. He's just like friends with everybody, and now he's like supervise like director of supervision like level with 30 people underneath them, and everybody's like, you know,
That guy's so cool.
the people under him hate him because
Oh
they're
yeah,
like,
they know.
he can't help us. We ask him questions, he's like, oh yeah, no, you're doing great, I'll get back to you on that, and we just never hear an answer, and the problem just kind of eventually just goes away because it's taken so long,
No,
you know, to get in.
yeah. See, I
You
couldn't
know,
work there. I had to say something to somebody.
but he's like, all the people above him are like, you doing such a great job, bonus, raise, promotion. And like I yeah, definitely he is that. He is James,
Yeah.
and I am Simon. I was like, yeah, you know, somebody needs to do overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that, but I'm not.
No,
You know,
see, like it's funny because like my job keeps asking me like, "Hey, do you want to do overtime?" And I'm like, "Absolutely not." You know, but like that's the thing. Like I feel like a lot of people like, for me, as far as like in my like you know in my professional career, like wherever I've worked at, I you know like there's a couple things like you know that I've always like really stood by. It's like, oh, I'm gonna do my work. I'm gonna do it. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to do it fast or I'm gonna just do it and do it right. But you know, I also like you know you can't be afraid to like hey, can I talk to you? Like kind of run some ideas, maybe like you know just to show like oh he's thinking about how to make things more productive.
right?
And that's really all you have to do, you know. And like it's funny because like for you, it's like you probably like you at least know some of those like 30 people that's under him, possibly.
Right? Yeah.
And it's like you can be mad all you want, but like you kind of have to take a little bit of what he's doing and mix it with you.
I
You know, I'm pretty sure for him at some
yeah.
point someone's gonna be like, this guy has no clue. Like he's gonna one day it's gonna come. He's gonna not have the answer for something that he should know, and you know, but like I, you know, for me it's like I don't want to wait for that day. I gotta say something to somebody. And if I get fired, fine, fuck it, fire me. But like, no, this is bullshit. This guy keeps getting bonuses off my back.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, like you know, and like that's like one of the themes in this movie. The other question is, which I feel like we can really get into, is like, is James even real?
It's really interesting because they leave it super ambiguous. Like you could argue either side. I mean, it does with the shared injury. It does seem to push
Yeah.
towards them being somehow connected.
Hmm.
Um, but they both interact. Like, how does the girlfriend not notice that this is two sides of the same person? If they weren't separate people, like how does Hannah not know? Just like, oh, sometimes you're like all quiet and shy, and I don't care about you then. And sometimes you're exciting, and you're the greatest thing ever. Like it, uh,
It almost feels like you're getting beautiful minded, right?
right,
Because if the doppelganger isn't real, and it's just Simon kind of having a very like DID or split personality situation, because like the time where he's like doing like the whole psyche eval, and like the doctor is actually the security guard, which you can kind of like think about it as like the reason why he's never been able to like leave or like get into the building is because it's like, yeah, no, you're staying right there or whatever, you know what I mean? But like the moments where he has like maybe like James is like that other extreme of him where he's like confident, he's like charismatic. They're like him as a security guard is, oh, maybe you're doing better, maybe we can think about like maybe releasing you back into society.
right, yeah, yeah. I'd like to see, and it's interesting because like the security guard doesn't recognize him, and then a little later his badge isn't working, and then a little later his badge is like totally like inactive,
Yeah.
and then a little bit later like they can't even find him in the
Yeah.
computer to print him out a new badge.
And
So
like
it's like as James becomes more and more
dominant.
noticeable and
Yeah.
dominant and
Yeah.
popular in the company, Simon becomes less, like, disappears more and more,
Yeah.
just completely from
And you can kind of interpret that as like the one side of his personality is like slowly consuming the other one,
right.
right? And like it's funny too because like like towards the end of the movie where when Simon starts to be like a little bit more assertive, he's like telling people like fuck you. He's like, oh hey James.
Right. Yeah.
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 So like that's kind of like, oh, like where I was like kind of seeing things, oh, I think this is just like a split personality situation. And like even after like when Hannah when he like takes Hannah home after her suicide attempt, she's like, dude, you should be the one to kill yourself, you're the one that cheated on me, type of situation, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
so you can like, oh, like at some point were they together, and like the whole corporate like pressure or whatever kind of like cracked his psyche, or like maybe like they were together but he like Melanie is like sort of like a symbol or whatever that he had cheated on her, and that's when his like mind kind of fractured.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
It's very interesting. Like, yeah, because you like,
yeah, I'm totally in the boat that like James was never real and it was just like a fragment of him.
right.
Yeah.
I did. Somebody had put out a very interesting theory,
Yeah.
like conspiracy theory on it. So at the very beginning, the guy who jumps
Yeah.
and dies. And then everybody kind of meets downstairs, and that's when he like kind of first starts really talking to Hannah, and that's before James shows up. And then at the very end, he jumps, hits the little like awning,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't die. Um, but they said if you look, the angle of Simon hitting the ground at the end is the same camera angle as when the stranger jumps at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
So what if Simon is such a loser and everything in his life is he can't make anything work, and everything he does is going wrong, like he's losing his briefcase and he can't get off the train and somebody takes his spot, um, and he tries to kill himself, and he even messes that up. And in his initial attempt to kill himself at the beginning of the movie, he hits the awning, smashes into the ground, and then is basically unconscious as the ambulance comes. And the entire thing is like the light at the end of the tunnel, the flashback of him living his life both as like looking into the future as both as the loser and as what if I lived my life as the person I like, the best possible version of myself.
Okay, so like,
And then he ends up not dying because the ambulance comes and picks him up. But that's all the rest of the whole movie is all in his head between one jump and the second jump.
okay, so like on the first one, like you're talking about, like they did the angle of like him, like from the falling angle, right?
Yeah.
So in that one, the detectives said that the only reason we got that angle was because like he would fall on the awning. So like the perspective is from falling on the awning, not just falling on the ground.
Right. So both times he hit the awning because he jumped the first time.
Yeah.
And he meant to kill himself, but he even messed that up and hit the awning and then bounced to the ground where he's now contemplating, and everything is.
See.
And then they said, if you start thinking about it, the light on top of the ambulance is blue and it's flashing. And every time there's some kind of major change in his life some part of his life that he wants to change throughout the movie, there is also a blue light involved. Like he goes to talk to to Hannah, and her copy machine works and it like bathes her in a blue light.
Yeah.
And then he like goes into his like room and he's like looking in like at, what's he going to do against, James. And then like he opens the window and it's like a blue light on him. And then at the very end, when he's like handcuffing James to the bed, blue light on James. So then waking up in the ambulance, now like both his boss the colonel boss and the girl are both in the ambulance, making him feel like, wow, if I am the James version of myself, I have now my boss's admiration and the girl that I have had this fantasy about, and I can now live as James instead of living as Simon.
Yeah, I know. Like I saw another theory where like Hannah actually like the whole movie, Simon and James are the same person. Hannah ends up killing herself because she got the miscarriage because she found out that Simon James cheated on her.
Right.
And then so her dying, and then this is like a whole God, what is that middle place? Like not heaven, not earth, a purgatory.
Like a purgatory?
Yeah, for him. Yeah, this movie there's so many ways you can interpret it. Unfortunately, so like we'll never really have the answer unless
and it was like, even if you talk to they like had some interviews with the director, and it's intentionally left
open,
unanswered, so that you can come up with your own interpretation of what really happened.
Yeah. But yeah, this movie it's a total little. It's definitely, it's funny too because like this whole movie you never see sun.
Right.
So like that's also like one of like the theories of like why people think this is just like a whole purgatory thing for James. Or
right.
Simon James.
And then the other thing was that like since Simon handcuffs James in Simon's apartment and then jumps out of James's window, but survives,
Yep.
he is now taking the place of James.
I, I,
Like
I
like he's going to wake up
as James.
as James, even if it's Simon. It's just Simon playing James because James is more popular. And they're like, "Oh, James survived. Oh, poor Simon. Oh, Simon who?"
Yeah. In my head, I was like, that was him killing James so he could absorb him back.
I,
You know?
possibly.
Yeah. It's a whole way, a whole bunch of, just like, I feel like if you ask anybody about this movie, everyone's going to have like a super different interpretation, right? But we're coming up to our hour, so I want to go ahead and thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check all of our other months down below where we have holiday themes, actor and actresses themes, director themes. We got a whole bunch of themes out there for you, so there's definitely going to be something there for you. We do reviews in 4 different sections. We have Stream It, DVD, Blu-ray, and the Ultimate Box Collection. Colby, where you at for this one?
I super enjoyed this movie, and it is. I watched it twice, and I feel like if I watch it another 5 times, every time I'll get a little bit some different perspective out of it. So yeah, this is probably got to be Blu-ray. I gotta
Oh man, high praises.
high
Um,
praises.
God, as much as I love like Richard Ayoade and all that stuff, yeah, I can't really imagine myself watching this more or coming back to this movie again. It's I think technically I think it's a really well done movie because if no one ever tells you or points it out, you'll never really think about how like there was never any sun. This movie
Oh,
is
right.
super dark. I like the set pieces. Yeah, like just like the technical portion of this movie, I really enjoyed. But like the speed fire of like the dialogue, everyone talking like that was kind of jarring. Not jarring for me, because like you know, it was just kind of like it would you'd have to really be tapped in to this
Yes.
and really pay attention to this movie, which I'm not gonna say like, oh yeah, I like movies where I don't have to pay attention to, but it's never like, oh, I'm gonna put this movie on for white noise or something like that, you know.
Oh, well, yeah.
And
Yeah,
I can
completely.
totally understand the person who, like with the 1 out of 10 where he was like, there's really no meaningful dialogue, and it's just like, I get it. It's like there is, but you really got to dig.
Yeah, there's some sad parts like when they're talking about being ghosts and being feeling like Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Like there's some like definite like deep like that people with like sadness and depression would be like I that is exactly how like a perfect description
Of how I'm
of
feeling.
of how I'm feeling. Yeah, so like I mean like I could like a lot of it I'm sure probably resonates with people,
Yeah,
but
but and I have every reason to be depressed, but food's just too good. Boobs are great.
boobs
I'm like,
and no boobs in this movie. And
yeah,
there was this really weird like reoccurring theme of this TV space battle TV
yeah,
show that was like some Buck Rogers kind of thing, and it was I I couldn't
place it.
I couldn't make something out of that, but
Yeah,
like my brain says there should be.
like my head was like, oh, maybe this like was his like this is what shaped his like original personality before it broke and fractured. And he's like, yeah, I want to be cool and collected like Han Solo, you know?
Right? Yeah.
And that's where I was just like, maybe that's the significance of this. Or maybe there's not a significance. I don't know. This movie definitely is like, it's up in the air, left for interpretation. I could see people thinking this movie is pretentious. And in some cases, yeah, it kind of feels like that. Uh, but I always feel like it's definitely worth a watch still, even though I place it at Stream It for me. You want something like really weird and quirky.
Right. I don't know. I feel like so much mainstream stuff is like just cookie cutter, and it's just like the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
I really appreciate people's attempts to give me something different.
Yeah. But that's going to be it for us, guys. Make sure to check all of our links down below where we have all our social medias.
Yeah, we got our Twitter, Facebook, Threads, Instagram, TikTok, yeah, YouTube. Get
Find
pick one and
yeah,
follow us.
and talk
Pick
to
pick
us.
pick X or Threads. We're on both of those the most because they're easy to just throw comments up on.
Yeah, they're easy for two people who have full-time jobs.
Yeah, but we try to always post like on all the things whenever we drop a new episode, so you'll know when. It's weekly. It's
Yeah,
sometimes it's Monday, sometimes it's Tuesday, sometimes we're a little slacky till Wednesday, but every week
yeah,
we've putting something up.
exactly. Want to thank you guys for joining us. My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to check out the theme music, it is Lee Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage. It's on our album Music Podcast 3, and the Bandcamp is down below.
Thank you.